Hello, Aries, and I hope you are doing well, all of you. And last month's audio was not too good. Some new format, different software. Let's get it right this time, right? But listen, you're going to have a great month this month in spite of, everything still going on with the virus and whatnot. And yes, there is energy out there, and the world is still in transformation. But listen, let's start out over here in your first house. You still have Mars retrograde, which it will be for a while. And what I can say about that, this is a time for you to actually figure out what it is you want. It's your personality. It's the way you shine, the way you radiate, the way you meet the world. This Mars is going to give you a little time to actually figure out what you're doing and how you're presenting yourself, how you're coming across and whatnot. Why? Well, because it's here with the ascendants, right? And the ascendants is how you meet the world and how they meet you. So there might be some feedback coming back from the previous months now that it is retrograde and has been for a while. I would like to say, though, that it also is beneficiary to you. Because why? Well, Mars, the actions that you've been taking earlier on, summer coming into early autumn, now is giving you a little bit of time to look back over things and rework and retweak those things. I think for you, this is really, really important. You can see Mars will be retrograde here till November 14th. So you have this time to actually work through and use it to your positive, all right? Really be aware, because the actions, the decisions that you were making earlier in October, like I said, early autumn as well, September there, is now a time to perfect it, okay? Sometimes we might feel that this Mars energy, when it is retrograde, is coming a little close to home, or we might feel a little drained, a little tired. Maybe our energy isn't up to spiff the way you would like it, but for a reason. The universe is asking you, slow down, Aries. Slow down. Because when you're up and running, you are such a go-getter, right? And your goals and your ambitions are always with you. And there's times where we want to slow down so we can get all the details with us in the things that we are creating. If we go to the next, let's look at Mercury. Mercury retrograde. It will be retrograde until November 4th. All right, so then it's going to pick up. So October, pretty much kind of in the area of your relationships, you might have felt that a lot of that communication that was important between you and your partner, your spouse, or anybody you work with one-on-one could have come to some challenges. But I like to say that those challenges were important to meet. Why? Because we want to hear things correctly, not going off on a tangent, being misunderstood, those things that happen when Mercury does go retrograde. So it's been a time for you to kind of really work through your relationships, any relationship, one-on-one, to a improvement. Venus here in your chart now, also in this area, and picking up where Mercury has been and left a trail. So, excuse me. So Venus now is going to be able to lay down a beautiful foundation this month with love and harmony. And of course, Venus rules Libra, which you have in your 7th house. So for you, Aries, it's a double whammy. Time to be romantic, time to be loving, time to have date nights. Especially for those of you who have family and children, don't forget to have date nights with your significant other. So important to nurture and fire up under that romance. And of course, it's all about balance, right? Balance, harmony, beauty, finding that zen within. And of course, under Venus, we love food, don't we? So this could be a month where there's a lot of good food coming to be shared. You're more diplomatic maybe this month, and I think it is good after Mercury retrograded there that this diplomacy that's coming up between you, or you might find that your partner also might find ways to compromise, ways to lay down a foundation that can work for an entire year. Because Venus is here now, 7th, but look at this. It goes around the chart a whole year until it comes back here. So whatever you lay down in this foundation of how you want your relationships to work, be smart, be conscious, be aware of how you want that to look over the whole next coming year. That is what you're doing. Just like when we talk about new moons, planting a seed, right? Our intentions and so forth. When Venus comes to this area, this is where you want to focus. What intentions do you have from your relationships? From love. What you give, what you receive, and all of those things. This is the time to kind of, this entire month, think about those intentions so that it will work for you while Venus moves around the chart. Let's look at the sun. The sun is now in Scorpio. So for you, Aries, what does that mean? Well, it means time for passion. When the sun is in Scorpio, we all get into that very passionate energy that's very deep, very transformative. And for you, it's in the 8th house. And that means that you can also focus on your finances. Not necessarily income. That is ruled by the 2nd house of money and income. The 8th house is more those things ruled by taxes, investments, commissions, royalties, all of those things. Maybe some payout that you've been waiting for. This is a time to kind of build that area of building your portfolio, right? How can you save? How can you put aside? How can you really bring up those things that are important to you? It's all those shared accounts that you have with your partner also. So we will jump ahead and we will look at, let's go up to your 10th house of career. And career, of course, for you, the 10th house is also ambitions, goals, not just career. And this is where you, Aries, you've been working in this area for a long time. We talked about it last month. And of course, you've been listening to the other astrologers as well. But see, Jupiter is so generous. Okay, so expect things now. Jupiter is on the direct, right? Pluto is on the direct. We will have Saturn too now direct. All of these three, they were retrograde throughout summer and autumn, where you were asked by the universe to look back. What is my foundation? What is my structure? What do I want to build? Saturn is building this incredible foundation for you in your career. And of course, it's not going to be here when it leaves your 10th house. It's not going to be back for another 29 years. So whatever you've been working on last year and a half, well, may it be good, because that is going to carry you and your career over this next Saturnian cycle, right? So it's 26 degrees. You really want it to work for you until it changes into your 11th house over here, because that's where you're going to focus for the next 2.5 years. You have between now in November until December 18th. We'll talk more about that and what Saturn means for you when it moves into Aquarius and your social area of your chart. But right now it's work, 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 and you might be so tired of it, Aries, because the last 2.5 years pretty much has been all about foundation work and those goals, right? And it hasn't had the easiest ride either, because why? It had to meet up with Jupiter, had to meet up with Pluto. So Saturn really went through the ringer, didn't it? Didn't it just squeeze the living juice out of you, right? But as hard as that could have been, those challenges, let me tell you though, for the long run, what it has been doing when Saturn met up with Pluto here early 2020, that's when it hit home. That's when things were like really tough. Really had to get in there and purge. I talked about that last month too. And then Jupiter came and expanded those challenges, right? But you got to know your worth. You got to know the energy the power of this structure, this foundation of your dreams, your goals. It's like, dang it, I'm going to make it through. It really strengthened you. And you will see the benefits of this starting here, end of the year, coming in to 21. You will see that you stood your test and you have these last few weeks now to make it right. Really get in there, focus. And because I say so, because I want you to succeed, Aries. I want you to be able to take this expansion that Jupiter has been trying to give you, right? We have the new moon and the full moon. I want to talk a little bit about that before we go to Uranus, Neptune. But the new moon here, it's November 15th. And for you, 23 degrees in Scorpio will be up here, your 8th house. So, of course, the new moons is all about intentions. We talk about that every month, right? And your intentions, where should they be? Not just for this month, this coming month. I think you know that by now. The new moon's intentions in the house that it appears is where it's most powerful. We can have intentions for everything. But it may not have a full value for you. If you're talking about your first house, if you're putting intentions for your family, the 4th house or 5th house romance, it's not really going to superpower you. Where is it going to superpower you? It's where it shows up. Not just for this month, but for the entire next 12 months before the new moon comes back. That's why it is so important, and it is the magical key, learning how to live with new moons and full moons, because they have the power to be with you for an entire year. Your main focus, you can have other intentions, but let your main intention this month be, I want to grow my savings. I want to learn to look at how to grow those savings accounts. How can I grow commissions? How can I grow royalties? How can my partner and I save together? It's mutual accounts, right? The 8th house. So if that can be top of your list on the intentions for this month, and of course, since it's in Scorpio, the 8th house has to do with those, the money sense. But the 8th house and in Scorpio, it's also about passion. So let that be a part of your intentions for this month, how to grow your passion and be present in that passion. The full moon will be November 30th, 8 degrees in Gemini. That's right down here, your 3rd house. 3rd house is all about communication. It's our siblings. It's our neighborhood. It's that community that we have. But it's also those things where you communicate out towards the world. If you're writing or having any kind of presentations, that kind of thing. Talks, podcasts. Those areas will now be illuminated. And that full moon on November 30th can be super important. It could be exciting. It's coming up right after Thanksgiving, of course. There might have been things that you have planned and worked towards. You could see that come into full illumination there November 30th. So we have Mars, like I said, on November 14th, will be going direct in your 1st house. So you're out of that retrograde. Mercury is retrograde until November 4th in your 7th house relationships. So make sure that you have those communications that are super important. If you're looking at this reading in October, you still have a couple of weeks, right, where Mercury will be retrograde. So make sure, especially if there is very important communications, that you're hearing what he or she is saying. Make sure to validate and verify with them, and vice versa. Then we have Uranus. I want to talk a little bit about Uranus. Uranus has been retrograde for several months, will go direct on November 29th. Uranus is the wild card. Uranus is always exciting. I love that planet because it's a liberating, freeing energy where change is always in the footprints of Uranus. Sometimes it comes totally unexpected, clear out of the blue like a lightning bolt. And we have the big OMGs. That is Uranus, right? You never know what you get with it. Now, it has been retrograding in your second house for money and income. So for you, I feel that you might have felt a little bit of a slowdown here while it was retrograding. Well, the good news is Uranus is going to pick up. A little bit slow to start with, but it is moving forward, and you should see that there's new monies coming in or new opportunities coming to you, money-making opportunities. So, it's like, even when Uranus is direct, it has this quality of being a roller coaster, right? You could have dry spells, and then you can have, when it rains, it pours with it. But I'm liking to see it goes direct, because it really brings us in tune with our higher consciousness spiritually. Full downloads of inspiration, intuition. It really rules all of those psychic energy chakras that we have. And then, of course, Neptune in the 12th house, now direct. Well, that is beautiful. Neptune belongs here. It rules this area of your chart. And so for that reason, I feel that you are now so attuned psychically, telepathically. Pay attention to your dreams. This is also very artistic. Music is important for you. Time off, because you are so determined and you work so much, Aries, that Neptune is saying take some time off, listen to music. Just be in your own inner zen, right? Feel that flow. Try to express yourself with that Neptunian energy, and you will feel so great. Okay, Aries, listen, always nice to see you. Thank you for all your comments, all your love. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you will know when my next videos are going to be up and coming. All right? And I'll see you again soon. Right now.